What if it's too hard?
I'm gonna push through.
What if it's too rough?
I'm gonna push through.
What if it's too tough?
I'm gonna push through.
What if you're just too young?
That's not true.
What if you're not good enough?
That's not true.
Why? Because
I can do anything I put my mind to.
I believe in you.
Chin up,
Believe in yourself.
head high.
Tell me why.
We push through anything we put our mind to.
Good morning, grade 5 students. Welcome back to another teaching and learning exercise. And we are looking at the subject social studies. And the topic is the history of the maroons in Jamaica. Alright, so we want to find out who are the maroons. So, the maroons of Jamaica were escaped slaves. They ran away from their Spanish-owned plantations when the British took the Caribbean island of Jamaica from Spain in 1655. Yes, this is the time where the British fought the Spanish and captured some of their islands. And in 1655, the British chased the Spanish from Jamaica and occupied the land in the name of Queen of England. The British occupation of lands in the Caribbean was the beginning of the British colonization in the Caribbean. So this is how the maroons came about. The word maroon comes from the Spanish word cimarrones, which meant mountaineers. Alright, which meant mountaineers. And we know that the maroons were very skillful in the mountains. They were so skillful that the British sent out hunting parties of planters. Yes, British soldiers and local militia men. Militia mean army of men. Alright, to capture the maroons. These men spent years trying, but with little success. Why? The maroons were very skillful in the mountains. Alright, so I'm gonna read these paragraphs. Read these paragraphs, and you're gonna use this passage to answer questions that is coming. All right, so you're gonna use the passage to answer the questions that are coming, and these questions will be also posted on Google Classroom, so you have to go there and answer these questions. All right, so the Jamaican maroons. Origins of the Jamaican maroons. What origins or origin mean? Origin means the point or place where something begins. So this is the beginning of the maroons. So the Jamaican maroons were called enslaved Africans. And Africans who run away or escape from their masters rather, or owners for their freedom, are called maroons. Let me say that again. Africans who run away or escape from their masters or owners for their freedom are called maroons. The word maroon means wild. All right, and wild means living or growing in the natural environment that is not cultivated. In other words, they were in the bushes, which is the hilly part of the mountains. All right. So the maroons came about from 1655, around the time when the Tainos and Africans who were freed by the Spanish, they went to the hilly parts of the islands for safety and freedom from the English settlers. Imagine, we don't want to be a maroons. Don't want to be a maroon rather. So the maroons and their fight for freedom. So maroons fought for their freedom from the English. They were a serious challenge, yes, to the English, because the English wanted them to work as slaves on sugar plantations. Imagine. The maroons used various strategies to maintain their freedom and fight the constant threat which the English forced upon them. So the English were constantly threatening them, but they were very skillful in the bushes. The English couldn't manage them at all. They would escape to mainly the cockpit countries in Jamaica. This is the inner parts of the island, which had a lot of plants, trees, and forests. The maroons have been divided into two groupings based on their location, windward and leeward. So the windward maroons now were those located in the east of the island, while the leeward maroons were those occupying the western part of the island. So here's the map of Jamaica, and we know that here is north, here is south, and here is east, and here is west. An acronym for that is never eat soggy worm. So that's how you can remember the compass there. Never eat soggy worm. So here is the east, right? So the windward maroon located in the east of the island, which is here. So the windward maroon located over here, which is the east, all right, of the island. All right. So the leeward maroons now would located here, because here is the what? The western, all right, the western part of the island. All right. So never forget this acronym, which never eat soggy worm. All right. Good. So let's go back to the readings. All right. Where was I? All right. So the windward maroons, I'm right here. I'm starting back right here. So the windward maroons were those located in the east of the island, while the leeward maroons were those occupying the western part of the island. The leeward maroons include locations such as Trelawney Town in St. James and a compound right here in St. Elizabeth the Breadbasket Parish. Among the windward settlements are Moore and Charlestown in Portland, Nannytown in St. Thomas, and Scotts all in St. Mary. So these are places where the maroons settled. All right. Even with these groupings, the maroons were organized in different bands, such as organization facilitated their mobilization. So we're gonna move on to the Maroon Wars now. The Maroon Wars now. So the English and the Maroons were engaged in two wars throughout the period of struggle between them. Maroon oral history suggests that the first Maroon War, as it is called, began around 1655. This time period of the war was about 10 years. So long, 10 years. Imagine, 10 years out of war. The Maroons, who had helped the Spanish, continued to confront the English later. Both the English and the Maroons struggled to control each other. However, the Maroons were more successful in fighting their opponent, and their opponent was the British. They were more successful because they were skillful in the mountains and in the hilly parts of the mountains there. So they would go through the area where the English lived at rapid speed, full speed ahead, man, full speed ahead. They're going at the English, all right? After which they would quickly run to hilly and mountainous parts. They were more familiar with and knowledgeable about these conditions than the English were, and this made chase very difficult and greatly contributed to their success in battle. Yes, man, yes. Now, in 1734, the English managed to capture a major maroon settlement, Nannytown. Look at that, Nannytown, which caused a blow to the Windward Maroons. Now, nonetheless, this did not ensure their defeat or suppression. They were consistent, man. They were very consistent. Now, the Maroons were persistent, yes, persistent in fighting, and so were offered to sign a peace treaty by the English. Now, what is a treaty? A treaty means an agreement or arrangement made by the negotiation. So, therefore, some talking was going on. Some talking was going on. So, it was the first Maroon Treaty and was signed by the fierce Leeward Maroon leader, Kojo, on the 1st of March, 1739. Now, this treaty that Kojo signed did not apply to all the Maroons. All right? Did not apply to all the Maroons in the community. The Windward Maroons were not involved in the process and were not told about the signing. However, 4 months later, they were also offered to sign a treaty by the English. The English had tried 5 attempts at getting them to sign this treaty, which was signed by the Windward Maroon leader, Kwa. I'm not sure if I get that name correct, that pronunciation of that name. So on the 23rd of December 1739, as a result of the divide between the Windward Maroons, another treaty was signed a year later by Nanny. That's why she's called Nanny of the Maroons, and she's one of the leader of the Maroons. So she's the most celebrated leader of the Moortown Maroons. So she's the leader of the Moortown Maroons. Both the Leeward and Windward Maroon treaties served to grant the Maroons freedom. Yes, man. Yes, man. So 3 leaders were mentioned. Kojo, and he's the Leeward Maroon. He's the leader of the Leeward Maroons. We have, what's the next one? Kwa, right? And he's the leader of the Windward Maroon. And we have Nanny, which is the leader of the Moortown Maroons. So we have 3 leaders mentioned there. All right, moving along. Now, we are going to answer the questions by finding the answers in the passage that was provided. So this passage, these questions will be posted on Google Classroom for you to answer. All right, I'm just going through it. So you're going to go back over the passage and listen to the readings, or you read it yourself and answer these questions in Google Classroom. All right, so the first one: what is another name for the enslaved Africans? You're going to tell me. In what year did the Maroons come about? Why did the Maroons fight the English? Where did the Maroons escape mainly to? How long did the war between the Maroons and the English lasted? Why were the Maroons more successfully in fighting the English? So you're going to answer all those questions in Google Classroom. All right. Now, the next thing you're going to do is to find the definitions for the following terms and use each words in the sentences. Use each words in sentences, sorry. So the first word is rebellion, the second maroon, third descendants, fourth nation builder, sixth national heroes, motto, and then emancipation. So you're going to find the definition for all of these words and then use them in sentences. All right, beautiful. Now, maroon settlement in Jamaica, and we know the maroon settlements in Jamaica if we research, right? So research will let us know the maroons settlements, and we are going to look at some of the places where the maroons settled. But let us label the map of Jamaica. So right here would be what? Anova. Right here would be Westmoreland. Right here would be St. James. Right here would be Trelawney. Right here will be St. Anne. Right here will be St. Mary. Right here will be Portland. Here is what? St. Thomas. Here is what? No more St. Andrew. So Kingston and St. Andrew, alright? Right here is St. Catherine. St. Catherine, not Twin. Sorry, St. Catherine. Right here now would be what? You tell me. No more Clarendon, man. Yes, let me go back. So right here is Clarendon. Here is Manchester. And right here is the beautiful breadbasket parish. And that is St. Elizabeth. Beautiful. So you're going to label the parishes. After you label the parishes, this is what you're going to do now. You are going to draw the map of Jamaica. That's how you're going to get to label them. So you're going to draw the map of Jamaica and label the different parishes of Jamaica. Then you're going to research and locate the places below where the maroons settled on the map of Jamaica. So your map should include a key. It must include a key, and these are some of the places where the maroons settled. Sorry, Compound, Charlestown, Flagstaff, Moortown, Scots Hall. Alright, so you're gonna label these places on the map of Jamaica where the maroons settled. Alright, anything else? No. So that's it for today's social studies class. I hope you have learned something, and I hope you are going over to Google Classroom now to complete my work. So stay safe. Have a blessed afternoon.